Hello and welcome back to our Introduction to Canvas video series. This screencast will focus on Part 4, creating pages and modules. And remember, as we go through, you can always look under Documentation under CDNet to find out more information. And as you work in Canvas, remember that there is a Help section up here in the upper right-hand corner where you can search any topic within the Canvas structure. Now, as we go through, there are two different ways to organize the content in your Canvas site. We've already gone over creating assignments and also creating quizzes. You can organize your content through pages, or you can also organize your content through modules. Now, my sites, I've been organizing them through pages, so I have a main page and then I have a page for each unit where if I go to one of them, the title, the information, essential questions, videos, PowerPoints, assignments, and quizzes are all wrapped up within that page. Many people prefer to use a module because a module allows you to organize all of those things together into one grouping, and you have some extra features which we will talk about later. So let's go into our pages, and I'm going to select view all pages. And first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a new page. So let's look at how we can organize a page, and I will call this sample. And the title always shows up actually in the top of the page when you create it. So let's just say for my sample page, maybe I want to add some type of a graphic. Well, if I go over to images, you can hit the upload a new image, or you can choose something from images that have already been uploaded to your Canvas site. I'm going to pick this new stem icon. It's a little large, so I'm going to select it and scale it down a bit, make it much smaller. And let's go over here beside it. Just like Microsoft Word, I can write text right beside it. And I'll just call this Introduction, or however you would like to label a page. I'm going to make that a little larger. We'll highlight that, make it bold, and we'll make it a nice big font size. So that looks good. And remember, we've talked about this earlier, when you hit Enter, it gives you a break between your lines of text. If you hit Shift Enter, the lines of text will be closer together, but then they'll also be connected, meaning if you try to indent one of those two lines, they'll all go over. And I'll show you what I mean by that. So I'll just do some typing here, and first thing I'm going to do is highlight that and make it a little bit smaller. And if I were to just use a Shift Enter to keep my lines of text close together, well, the problem is if I say, well, I'd like to indent the second line, not the first line. Now, Tab does not work on your keyboard for this. You need to use the indent features within the web page itself. So here would be the indent. Notice that they both indent or decrease indent every time I click it, because I used the Shift Enter for those two lines of text. So if you need to break things apart, you actually need to just use Enter, and now I could just indent that line by itself. And let's say this was a heading to attach a PowerPoint to it. So if I want a PowerPoint in my lesson, we'll go over to Files in our Content Manager over here in the sidebar, and I could upload a new file from my drives, or I can just load something that's already in here right now. And I'll pick this, let's see, here's a computer animation PowerPoint, and right there the link is already in there. It's highlighted. I could change its size and its boldness, but right there the students will be able to click that and be able to insert content. Let's see what else we want to add into your files. Maybe you would like to add a row of buttons in here that demonstrate linking to other pages. Well, to be able to do that, a good way to do this would be using the table feature in here. Tables allow you to create columns and rows. So if you wanted 2 columns within your web page, you could insert a table with 2 columns and type in both of those columns. So let's insert a table, and I'll just go with 2 columns, 2 rows. You can give it some cell spacing, a few pixels in here. Everything is measured by pixels. Cell padding, sure, let's put 3 in here. You can set your alignment to center, and sometimes this does not take the first time you try it. It may look centered, but then as soon as you save and get out of the editing feature, it may go back over to the left-hand side. There are also some advanced features where you can set border color and other things you can try out. So let's insert that table, and I will just give us some unit buttons here. This will be a link to Unit 1, this one will be a link to Unit 2, this will be a link to Unit 3, and 4. Okay, the text is pretty small. Let's highlight it. Let's make it bold and make it much larger so it's easier to work with. And I'm just going to hit Save to see what happens right now. I hit Save, and notice that that table is over to the side. Like I mentioned, sometimes we set it to be centered, but it doesn't take very easily. So let me see if I can fix that. It gets a little glitchy. I wish it was a little bit more reliable there. And I highlighted it, hit centered, and I think if I hit save, it should work this time. There, now it's in the center. They don't look much like buttons right now. They look just like text all jumbled together. So let's go back into edit again. And what I'm going to do is actually add some spaces before and after. So let's go 2 spaces before and after each button, just so we can space things out a little bit. Whoops. Alright, let's even highlight the text. Let's put a little bit of background color in here just to make life a little bit more interesting. So you can use different colors. You could use the same color. You can, oops, didn't highlight there. Let's see. And you could do whatever you want to your buttons, because hey, they're your buttons. Now I use graphics for my buttons. I use pictures that I made in GIMP, or you could also make them in Photoshop. There are a lot of different programs out there to do graphics in. If you're comfortable with them, you could always try to do some different things with some graphics. Okay, let's hit save now and see what those buttons look like. Okay, they look much better. I changed the color of the font instead of the background, and I actually got an extra space here, but you get the idea. You can set up your buttons however you would like to set them up. Let's go back into edit. Now right now we really don't have any navigation to those. I can't click on them and they won't take me anywhere. So actually in my view all pages right now, I'm going to go into my unit 1 and I'm going to copy my URL, my address link up here at the top. I can Control C, or I can go right click copy. We'll go back to view all pages, and I can go in and edit my sample page, and now I will do a hyperlink for this unit 1. There's the chain link for link to URL. This will give us, those things just moved on me there. Okay, we'll go Control V. I could also right click paste and insert a link. Okay, when my screen decided to jump, I think due to my wireless mouse, I lost my highlight. So let's do the hyperlink now to that. Okay, and here's my unit 2. We'll do a hyperlink to that one. Now the nice thing with the way structures go, I don't have to go through and copy every page. Since I've been numbering all my pages logically, I just need to change that unit 1 to unit 2, and that will give me the proper navigation. And let me fix this text a while. We'll just change that back to black, and we'll change the background color to green. Now, we're going to hyperlink this. Okay, we'll hyperlink this button, and I'll just change this from unit 2 to put a 3 on the end, and so forth and so on. So let's see if these buttons actually work now. I'm not going to bother number 4 right now, you get the idea. So there would be a link to unit 1. We'll go back a page, and here would be my link to unit 2, unit 3. There's my unit 3 page, so they're working. You get the idea to do hyperlinks. If you decide to create images, you can do the same thing with an image. If I went in to edit this home page of mine, I just put a picture in here, and there's my hyperlink to the page that it needs to go to. Now, when you're putting graphics in here and you're going to create your own buttons, you want to make sure that you create the buttons all to be the same size. I found with tables, things get really out of whack if they're not all the same size to make them look neat and orderly. So I might do a video lesson on how to use GIMP to do some basic graphic editing if anybody is interested in that. But as for right now, you can play around with and try some different things in there. So let's go back to the page that we're editing right now. Okay, so we've added some different content here. Let's say you wanted to add a quiz or an assignment in here. So I could give this a heading and a description, and let's see, when I look over at my links, here are all of my assignment options, and I could just make sure I'm highlighted there. I could just pick an assignment out of here. So we'll just put an assignment link in there, and I can highlight it and make it bold if that helps students be able to navigate to it better, and that'll take it to an assignment that we created the other day. Okay, so we can go in here, we can add some quizzes now. So if I had a quiz link in here right now, maybe I want to highlight this too, make this bold, make everything nice and consistent. When you have a quiz in here, here are a list of all of the quizzes you've created, so you can insert a quiz rather easily. Now what else can you add to this? Well, go to another line. We were talking earlier about the YouTube links. There are many different external tools that we can use to insert things into our program. And a lot of these were already installed for you by the district or by Canvas itself. There's the YouTube link right here. Now, this YouTube link will link the videos into your format a little differently than using this YouTube link. And let me show you the difference between the two. I'll show you how to use them, but I've been noticing my screen capture program is kind of glitching as I add them. So let me show you what a final page with using both methods will look like first. So we'll get out of this page first, and we're going to view all pages. And here is a movie page that I have set up for my classes. Okay, so Blender 3D sample movies right here. I was unable to get these videos to link using this really nice YouTube link. This is the second option, the one I installed myself. This is the one that came pre-installed in Canvas. These are nice because they're actually already showing up on the screen, and I could hit play, I could full screen them. These videos won't expand out to be this size until I actually click on them. And it's just another nice feature to put these videos in. So if I were to click on one, it will now expand out, and the video will now play inside the video, and I could even full screen it if I wanted to. Okay, we'll minimize it again. These are nice because they're just going to play right where they're at in your page, and you can actually line them up, many on one line. And if I resize my browser, because everybody's computer may be set up a little differently, if your browser is a little smaller, it will go to 2 per line. So as it will adjust to match the size of your browser as you work. And that's a really nice feature. So we're going to go back to our pages, and we're going to show you how to work with both of these. View all pages, and go back into our sample page. So we'll show you how to use those two links right now. Okay, so for the first link we're going to try to use, we'll go into the V where all of your external apps are loaded in, and we'll just try this first YouTube link. I wish there was a way that they could distinguish between the two links. I think the second option, which is actually nicer, is a little more experimental because it will not always find the video that you're looking for. You may try 10 times, it won't find it, and then all of a sudden tomorrow you'll try it again and it'll find it. This one up here is more reliable. It picks every video that you like. So I'm going to say let's put in a video, and it'll tell you to search. You could actually do search criteria and get a whole list of videos and find the one you want. Or if you already know the one you want to use, for example, I'll go with this video here. Here's the link. I went to the share option, and there is the actual share address. So I'll right click and copy that link, go back to my YouTube search, right click, paste, search, and there it is. It found the video, and I'll just click it and it will put it right in here for me. Now this is what I do not like about the first YouTube link. It can't be centered. You can't put more of them on one line. It's just going to be this link, and that's it. So if I hit save and exit out, and we look at the page, there is the video. And again, I can't put a bunch of them on the line. You can just put one right there, and now it'll expand out and you can actually see that video. We'll minimize it again. Now let's show you the other tools. So we're going to go back in and edit this page again. And this time I'm just going to hit enter to get below that option. And let's go back into our apps, more external tools, and go down to this bottom YouTube link, the one that I actually activated by going through settings. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to type in that same URL. We'll just do a Control-V, paste it in there, and hit enter. And it found the video right away. And if you notice, this looks different than the last one we used. Sometimes you will know the video is there, everything will be perfect. You'll type in the address and it'll say no videos found. I think that's something that they're working through, probably trying to make it better. But you can hit the arrow and you can embed it any size that you want in your video. We'll embed it small. And notice that one displays differently. This one was actually just a link. This one actually displays like it'll be a video box. And if I go after that line, I'll hit a space, so I get a space between videos. I can actually add more videos to this line. So we'll go back into YouTube, and let's find a different video this time. Let's go back to my whole list, and we'll say put this 9th grade video in, stop it, and I'll go down, hit my share button to get the address. I probably could try this address here. Sometimes that doesn't work. So we'll hit the share button where it comes to the actual URL for this video. So we'll copy that address. I'll go back to my Canvas page, and I will right click, paste it in here, hit enter, and it found that video, and we will embed it small. And now you see I have 2 videos in there, so let's hit save. And now when you look at it, okay, we have 2 YouTube videos in here now, and they will play side by side. And you can full screen them as well. So we have the 2 videos in there. Then I think that's really the majority of what you need to be able to look at when you're creating your web pages. There are other external tools that will be more content specific or more useful for the class that you teach. There are many things in here, and many more that can be added by going through settings and apps. And you can install a variety of these apps, whatever you think you need. So now that's about it for web pages. Now we're going to talk about creating modules. Modules are very easy to create. In fact, you'll see your list of modules on the side. Basically, all you're doing with a module is you're taking all of the content that you already now know how to create, and you're organizing it into a unit. So we're going to pick on the module. And these are a couple of modules that I've already created. This one is actually just a list of pictures that I have linked in a web page. The students can use these different pictures of gumball machines for a graphic design project they need to do. Here would be a sample of Unit 1, which is very much like the web page I've created, except everything is just in a nice, neat, orderly row. So let's create a module and show you what your options are with a module. You need to give the module a name. We'll say Unit 4. And you want to say, do you want to lock the module until a certain date so the students cannot get into it until a specific time? If you check that box, you have to make sure that you give it a date to say you can't get into it before that time. You can have prerequisites to a module, meaning that we can add a prerequisite and say the students cannot do Unit 4 until they've completed Module Unit 3. So they've had to complete everything in that module before they can actually get into this module. And you can also check a box to say students must move through the requirements of this module in a sequential order. So a lot of times you can lock some things down, and we'll click Add Module. Here's my Unit 4. So we can click the plus now and begin to add content to this module. So maybe you actually have a web page that you want the kids to go to and actually be able to see it, or you have an assignment or a file. So we'll go to a content page, and let's just say related to Unit 4, here's the page that would relate to that. You can indent it if you want to, or just keep it where it's at. We'll just add item. Excuse me. So now we have a web page added. Let's add some more content here. Maybe I want to add some type of description to the page right now. We'll do a text header, and we can just say follow these steps or something. Again, whatever you want to do. Maybe we'll indent it. So we'll indent it 1 level and hit add item. Now you'll notice with these modules, as I create them, you have a little row of dots in front of it. You can actually grab these things and reorder them any way you want to in this sequence. Same thing within a module. Let's add some more content. So we added a title now, and we indented it. And let's add, let's say maybe there's a file, a PowerPoint that you would like to add to this. Here's a PowerPoint we can add, and we'll add item. And maybe I want it indented a little bit further, but I forgot to do it while I was adding the content, so I can just click on the settings and increase indent. Whoops, here's one that didn't get published, so let's publish these right away so kids can see them. And so we've added that. Let's add something else into this Unit 4 module. Let's add a quiz, so we can do add a quiz, and it'll bring up all the quizzes that you've created already, and add that item to it. And again, maybe I want to indent it or not indent it. It's up to you. We can always change it here. And maybe you want to play a video within this as well, so we can go in here and add an external tool. So these are all those external tools that we were looking at earlier that are already installed, and I'll pick one of these YouTube ones. And you can pick a URL for this. I think I might still have one memory in my save. Let's right click, paste one in there, enter, and we can just embed it. You don't have a lot of options with this. You can just embed it, that's it, and add the item. So there would be a video added into that module. So you can see it's very easy to add stuff to your module. And then when you're ready to add a module to one of your pages, we'll go into pages, and I'll go back into view all pages, and I'll go back to that sample page we were working on. Looks like I got some kind of crazy link up here. Let me delete that out of there right now. I actually have to go into edit first. Now I can delete it out of there. Okay, so I want to put a module in here now. So let's go below all these videos. And if I want to link a module, well, remember, just like everything else that shows up in this content manager, here are modules, and I could just pick a module, and there it is. So you have a reference right there that can be clicked on, and the students would be able to go right to that module. So we're back to that page. So here would be the navigation to the units and all the videos, and right here would be this module down at the bottom. Obviously, you would probably want to add a little text to go along with that, and it just took me right into that module. Now, if we would go back to the home button, and we look at our choosing a home page, because right now I have it set up to be a specific page, but remember, we can go back in here and change what's going to be our home page. It can be recent activity, it could be an actual page, it could be course modules. So if I hit save, every time the student goes into this class and we hit the home button, it's going to just show a list of modules. So you have to decide how you want the navigation to work within your class. Choose a home page, it could be the syllabus, it could be an assignment list, and you just need to decide what you want to try to do with it. I'm going to change my home page back to being my front page again. And that's about it for working with modules and working with pages. You now have the tools that you need to probably create a nice web page that you can, again, continue to work with a little bit more. Good luck.